Imagine this. You walk into a Dior boutique in Paris. There, the face of a Korean man fills every single display window. Elegant, striking, impossible to ignore. Then you step outside, cross the street, and walk into Tiffany & Company. And there he is again, the same face. Diamond bracelets gleaming on his wrist. His eyes staring directly into the camera, as if he already knows you're completely captivated. One face. Two of the most legendary fashion empires in the world. One Korean idol. His name is Park Jimin. And today, we're going to talk about how this boy from Busan managed to conquer two of the world's most prestigious luxury brands at the same time. Something no Korean idol has ever done before. If you're ARMY, get ready to burst with pride. And if you're not ARMY yet, get ready to become one. Stay with me, because this is not just a story about fashion. This is a story about how one human being can single-handedly rewrite the rules of an entire global industry. Before we dive into Dior and Tiffany, let's take a step back. Because who is Park Jimin really? Born on October 13, 1995, in Busan, South Korea, Jimin is one of the 7 members of BTS, the boy band that has reshaped the global music landscape since their debut in 2013 under HYB Entertainment. BTS is not a new name. They are the first act from South Korea to receive a Grammy Award nomination. They have landed 6 #1 albums on the Billboard 200, an achievement that many Western artists haven't even come close to reaching. They've sold more than 40 million albums worldwide, making them the best-selling artist in South Korean history. But among the 7 incredibly talented members of BTS, Jimin carries something different. There is a certain aura about him that words struggle to contain. His one-of-a-kind vocals, his dance moves that flow like water, his stage presence that pulls every single pair of eyes in the room toward him. All of it makes Jimin not just one of the BTS members. He is a phenomenon of his own. In the fashion world, they saw it long before most people did. Jimin's relationship with Dior didn't happen overnight. The story began long before any official announcement. In 2019, the prestigious French fashion house chose to collaborate with BTS. At the time, menswear designer Kim Jones personally crafted the stage outfits for BTS's world tour, Love Yourself, Speak Yourself. Think about that. Not a Korean brand, not an Asian brand. Dior Paris came directly to BTS. That was the first signal. Dior had seen something in BTS, and most especially, in Jimin. Then came the moment that shook the fashion world to its core. On January 16, 2023, Dior officially announced Jimin as their global brand ambassador. Not a regional ambassador, not an Asia-Pacific representative. A global ambassador, meaning Jimin would represent Dior across the entire world. And this wasn't just an announcement. It was history. Why? Because Jimin became the first Asian man ever to be named a global brand ambassador for Dior. In over 75 years of Dior's history, since the house was founded in 1946, no Asian man had ever been given this honor. Jimin broke that barrier wide open. The world's reaction? Thunderous. The announcement went viral across every corner of the internet instantly. ARMY flooded Dior's social media with messages of congratulations, breaking through every time zone. But the most stunning reaction didn't come from fans. It came from the stock market. On the very same day Jimin's global ambassadorship was announced, Dior's stock price skyrocketed to its highest point in 31 years of the brand's operation. This was not a coincidence. This was the Jimin effect, real, measurable, and worth millions of dollars. Then in October 2023, the world was stunned again when Dior launched their Spring/Summer 2024 campaign, and Jimin was chosen as the sole face of the entire collection. Not one of several models. Not a face among many. The one and only face. The entire Dior Spring 2024 collection rested on the visual power of Park Jimin alone. The results? The moment that campaign dropped, hundreds of pieces from Dior's Spring 2024 collection sold out instantly, despite their staggering price tags. Dior's stock climbed another 6.41% in a short span of time. And for the very first time, Dior ranked #1 as a global fashion brand following the campaign launch. Then there was a moment that no advertising script could have planned, something entirely organic. When Jimin traveled to Japan for a personal trip, he accidentally started 2 separate Dior-related trends simply by being photographed in his own casual style. The Dior pieces he was wearing in those travel photos were immediately hunted down by fans around the world. Sales spiked. Dior itself seemed almost bewildered by the organic power of this one man. And the most recent headline? Dior reported that their annual revenue in South Korea for the year 2023 reached an all-time record high, and analysts pointed to one single factor as the driving force: Jimin. At Paris Fashion Week in 2025, Jimin attended Dior's Women's Spring/Summer 2026 show, proof that his partnership with this legendary fashion house is not a short-term contract, but a long-term relationship that only continues to grow. Not even done with Dior, another bombshell dropped just a few weeks later. On March 2nd, 2023, Tiffany & Company, the most iconic jewelry brand in the world, the brand whose name has been embedded in pop culture since the 1961 film Breakfast at Tiffany's, officially announced Jimin as their newest house ambassador. Let's take a moment to appreciate how massive Tiffany & Company truly is. This is not an ordinary jewelry brand. Founded in New York in 1837, Tiffany is a symbol of luxury and elegance that has endured for nearly 2 centuries. Their previous ambassadors have included Lady Gaga, Beyoncé, Kendrick Lamar, and Zoe Kravitz. Those are not ordinary names. Those are global cultural icons of the highest order. And now, the name Park Jimin joined that legendary list. Alexander Arnault, Executive Vice President of Product and Communications at Tiffany & Company, and the son of Bernard Arnault, the owner of the LVMH empire, personally described Jimin as someone who embodies the energy, style, and sense of modernity that epitomizes Tiffany & Company. This was not a polite, corporate statement. This was one of the most powerful figures in global luxury, declaring publicly that a Korean idol was exactly what their brand needed. Jimin responded with his characteristic humility. It is a great honor to partner with Tiffany and embody the values of a brand that has a passion for design, innovation, and artistry. And then the campaigns came. In the very first campaign photo, Jimin appeared in a black suit paired with a stack of Tiffany lock bracelets, a mix of half-pave, full-pave, and diamond-accented styles. That image was not just an advertisement. It was a piece of visual art. Then in April 2023, Jimin joined Tiffany's major campaign titled, "This is Tiffany," standing alongside names like Zoe Kravitz and Gal Gadot. Once again, not ordinary company. And standing among those names, Jimin held his ground completely, representing a new generation of luxury that transcends cultural and geographic boundaries. Here's something very significant that often gets overlooked. Jimin is an ambassador for LVMH, the largest luxury conglomerate in the world, for 2 brands simultaneously. LVMH, or Moët Hennessy Louis Vuitton, oversees more than 75 premium luxury brands, from Louis Vuitton to Bulgari, from Givenchy to Moët and Chandon. And out of every artist in the world they could have considered, they chose Jimin for 2 brands at once. That is not luck. That is a highly calculated business decision made by the smartest minds in the global luxury industry. Now here's the question everyone is always asking. Out of the millions of K-pop idols in existence, why Jimin specifically? The answer goes much deeper than because he's good-looking or because he's famous. Jimin has over 48 million Instagram followers, and that number continues to grow. But the raw number isn't the key factor. What matters more is the engagement rate, how actively his audience interacts with his content. And in this category, Jimin has consistently ranked at the top among all global celebrities. When Jimin posts something, it doesn't just get liked. It becomes a worldwide trend. It becomes a topic of conversation across every continent. It moves markets. Luxury brands don't spend millions of dollars on ambassadors who just look good in photos. They invest in results. And Jimin delivers results that cannot be argued with. Stock prices rising on the day of an announcement? Yes. Products selling out within hours? Yes. Brand revenue hitting all-time highs? Yes. New trends starting simply because he wore something in a personal travel photo? That happened too. In the world of marketing, this is called authentic influence. The kind of influence that doesn't feel like an advertisement, but feels like a genuine recommendation from someone you trust. Jimin has that quality naturally, without performance, without pretense. Beyond metrics, Jimin also possesses a visual quality that is extremely rare. He can appear elegant and masculine at the same time, sharp yet soft, modern yet timeless. His personal aesthetic, delicate but powerful, aligns perfectly with Dior's DNA. And the way he wears jewelry, with fearlessness and quiet confidence, fits the spirit of Tiffany and Company exactly. The creative directors of both brands didn't choose Jimin because he was popular. They chose him because visually and aesthetically, he is their brand. There's also a larger, structural reason. The luxury world is changing. These brands can no longer speak only to consumers in Paris, Milan, or New York. The fastest-growing luxury market in the world is now in Asia, Korea, Japan, China, and Southeast Asia. To speak to that market authentically, these brands need a face that is genuinely trusted by Asian consumers. Jimin, as the first Asian man to become Dior's global ambassador, isn't just representing Asia. He's changing the narrative about what the face of global luxury is allowed to look like. Let's take a moment to sit with these numbers, because they deserve to be stated clearly. Jimin is the only Korean idol, perhaps the only Asian artist, to simultaneously serve as brand ambassador for two luxury brands owned by the same conglomerate, Dior and Tiffany and Company, both under the LVMH umbrella. For context, the other BTS members, who are each extraordinary in their own right, are ambassadors for one luxury brand each. RM for Bottega Veneta, V for Celine and Cartier, Jhope for Louis Vuitton, Suga for Valentino, Jean for Gucci and Fred. Each of them is remarkable. But Jimin holds two LVMH brands at the same time. And this isn't just about quantity. Dior and Tiffany and Company are two of the most iconic and historically significant brands in all of luxury. Dior defined modern haute couture. Tiffany defined fine jewelry. Neither of them picks their ambassadors casually. One more thing that often gets forgotten. Jimin achieved all of this not as a currently trending artist, but as someone who has consistently proven his value over time. He shows up at Paris Fashion Week. He delivers campaign after campaign that makes global headlines. He starts trends without intending to. He moves stock prices. And beyond fashion, his solo music career is equally impressive. His debut solo album, Face, in 2023 received wide critical acclaim. And his second solo album, Muse, was released in July 2024, cementing his position as a powerhouse artist who stands entirely on his own, not just as a member of BTS. What Jimin has done goes far beyond simply being a model for advertisements. His presence as ambassador for both Dior and Tiffany and Company has fundamentally shifted several conversations in the global luxury space. For decades, the face of luxury was synonymous with Western aesthetics, both physically and culturally. Jimin, as an Asian man representing two of the most historically Western luxury brands in existence, has proven that beauty and elegance do not belong to one face. Luxury is universal. Before Jimin became Dior's global ambassador, a position of that level had almost never been extended to an Asian artist. That door is now open. We've already seen more idols and Asian artists being given prestigious roles at global luxury brands in the years since. And Jimin is one of the pioneers who made that possible. Luxury brands are businesses. They don't make decisions based on sentiment. They make decisions based on data. And the data that Jimin generates, rising stock prices, sold-out products, record-breaking annual revenues, chart-topping digital engagement, proves that K-pop is not just a cultural trend. It is a genuine economic force capable of driving the global luxury market. And perhaps most quietly powerful of all, Jimin wears Tiffany diamond jewelry without hesitation. He appears in Dior campaigns with a visual quality that the industry once reserved almost exclusively for women. And he does all of this with complete confidence, without asking permission from anyone. Without even trying, he is redefining what masculinity in fashion is allowed to look like. Before we close, let's revisit some of the moments that will stay in the memory of anyone who witnessed them. January 2023, Paris Fashion Week. This was Jimin's first public appearance as Dior's global ambassador. He sat front row at the Dior Men's show at Place de la Concorde, one of the most prestigious venues in all of Paris. He wore a gray Dior suit with a turtleneck underneath, creating a look that was simultaneously masculine and refined. Cameras from every major media outlet in the world turned toward him. International fashion publications wrote about him. That moment wasn't just about Jimin. It was the moment K-pop officially sat at the same table as the global fashion elite. October 2023, Dior Spring 2024 campaign. When the photos from this campaign dropped, the internet collectively stopped breathing for a moment. The images of Jimin in Dior's dark, bold, theatrical visual language, with dramatic lighting and immaculate styling, immediately became one of the most talked about fashion campaigns of the entire year. The Tiffany lock bracelet photo. The image of Jimin posing with a stack of Tiffany lock bracelets, shirtless beneath an open black suit jacket, is one of those iconic photographs that millions of people across the world have seen. It wasn't just an advertisement. It was an image that defined an era. Paris Fashion Week 2025. Even after completing his mandatory military service and returning, Jimin attended Dior's Women's Spring-Summer 2026 show, proving that his relationship with this fashion house is unshaken by time, distance, or anything else. So what can we take from the story of Jimin and his journey from Dior to Tiffany & Company? This is not a story about luck. This is a story about a person who, through talent, dedication, and an undeniable aura, made the entire global luxury industry turn around and say, "We need you." Jimin isn't just a Korean idol who made it into the fashion world. He is proof that when genuine talent meets authentic influence, no door stays closed. Not the diamond doors of Tiffany in New York, and not the gilded doors of Dior in Paris. And while everyone is still asking, which Korean idol will conquer the world next? Jimin already went far beyond conquering. He has redefined what it means to own the world. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow army and your fellow fashion lovers. Drop a comment below. What luxury brand do you think would be perfect for Jimin next? Chanel? Bulgari? Rolex? See you in the next video. Stay fabulous. Blue Heart.